Marvin Minsky, born in New York City on August 9, 1927, grew up in a household where his father's eye surgery instruments and his mother's choreography sketches shaped a temper that fused precision with improvisation. He taught himself calculus from his parents' medical books during nights lit by a homemade arc lamp, then entered Phillips Academy Andover just as wartime radar projects were spilling mathematical texts into high school libraries. After naval service, he enrolled at Harvard, built a mechanical maze solver nicknamed the SNARC from surplus vacuum tubes, and in 1950 wrote an honors thesis arguing that neural networks might replicate creative insight if supplied with enough internal noise. Graduate study at Princeton led him to construct neural nets on the Institute for Advanced Studies IS computer. But by 1951, he had grown skeptical that uniform learning rules could scale. The insight foreshadowed his later critique of connectionism. In 1956, he joined the Dartmouth Summer Research Project on Artificial Intelligence, official birthplace of the term, where he and John McCarthy debated whether symbolic logic or probabilistic association would best mimic human reasoning. Minsky's wager on symbols yielded the logic theorist extension he co-designed with Alan Newell, a program that proved theorems in Principia Mathematica faster than many graduate students. When MIT recruited him in 1958, he founded the Artificial Intelligence Project, later the MIT AI Laboratory, installing a PDP one mini-computer in a converted World War II radar shack on Tech Square. Under his direction, students built the first hand-eye assembly robot, Shaki, and the complex kinematic solver that calculated joint angles for 6 degrees of freedom manipulators. Minsky's 1959 article Steps Toward Artificial Intelligence distilled these efforts into a research agenda. Perceive with structured representations, planned via search constrained by heuristics, and learn by accumulating partial solutions. His collaboration with Seymour Papert on perceptrons, culminating in the 1969 monograph of that name, mathematically proved that single-layer linear threshold networks cannot compute the parity function or detect connectedness in binary images. The result tempered early neural net enthusiasm, nudging U.S. funding agencies towards symbolic AI for a decade and indirectly spurring backpropagation pioneers to add hidden layers in the 1980s. Minsky, however, never meant to kill neural nets. He was challenging researchers to embed them in richer architectures. That challenge issued fully in the Society of Mind, drafted through the 1970s on a Lisp machine screen and published in 1986, which portrayed intelligence as an economy of semi-autonomous agents, frames, k-lines, scripts, whose interactions generate common sense without a central homunculus. Each agent was simple, often stupid. Sophistication arose from layered coordination rules. Cognitive scientists later saw precursors of subsumption robotics and blackboard systems in these pages, while philosophers noted parallels with Hume's bundle theory and Maturana's autopoiesis. Minsky's technical audacity extended beyond theory. He co-invented the first pickup head for the confocal scanning microscope and designed the MIT Logo Turtle's first drive electronics. To test machine vision under controlled lighting, he built a motorized arches and ramps set the size of a ping pong table, joking that to see a block you must first raise one. Throughout the 1970s, he organized midnight Lisp debugging sessions fueled by black coffee and counterculture rock, persuading graduate students that elegant code was a moral imperative. His lab's motto, "We will build machines that will be proud of us," hung beside a hand-drawn flowchart linking lambda calculus, child psychology, and medieval scholasticism. From the 1980s on, Minsky argued that mainstream AI had drifted into engineering incrementalism. He mocked expert systems for mistaking encyclopedias of rules for thinking beings and warned that statistical learning, though useful, risked regressing to the mean of mediocre ideas. At the same time, he promoted emotion modeling as the next frontier, claiming that feelings are cognitive constructions that juggle resource allocation among competing subminds. His unpublished book draft, The Emotion Machine, treated envy, shame, and curiosity as meta-level critics that rewire goal hierarchies, ideas later echoed in neuromodulatory robotics. He remained an unrepentant iconoclast. When deep learning papers resurfaced in the mid-2010s, he labeled them gradient descending on yesterday, while acknowledging their empirical strides. Minsky's influence stretched through his students. Daniel Bobro's natural language parsing, Gerald Sussman's scheme language, Patrick Winston's frame systems, Rodney Brooks's behavior-based robots, and Cynthia Breazeal's social machines all bear the stamp of his agent-oriented pluralism. Yet he also shaped public discourse, advising Stanley Kubrick on the sentient computer HAL 9000 for 2001, A Space Odyssey, and declaring on national television that machines would surpass human intellect within our grandchildren's lifetimes. Critics accused him of downplaying brute force search's computational limits. Supporters replied that he foresaw multi-agent decomposition long before distributed systems became ubiquitous. He received the Turing Award in 1969, the Japan Prize in 1990, and co-founded the One Laptop Per Child initiative in 2005, insisting that every child deserved a brain amplifier regardless of GDP. In his final years, he explored mathematical music composition on the Yamaha Disclavier, writing common Lisp routines that map tonal tension graphs onto chord progressions inspired by Debussy. When he died on January 24, 2016, colleagues assembled in MIT's lobby beneath a holographic projection of bouncing blocks from the early Vision demos, marking the passing of a figure who viewed intelligence as a cathedral built from Tinker Toy parts. Minsky's legacy endures in the very tension he cultivated between neat proofs and messy architectures, between the dream of unified theory and the reality of cognitive bricolage. His core claim, that the mind's grandeur emerges from swarms of simple processes disciplined by reflective control, continues to challenge artificial intelligence research whenever it veers toward monolithic solutions or forgets that complexity, wisely organized, is its own form of elegance.